Hello and welcome. We're filming live here today at the PAL Complex in Holtzville, New York, joined by two very special guests. To my right, we have Brett Engman. To my left, we have Ken Courtright. They're going to be announcing some special news today. The PAL Rangers will be making a return after several years of inactivity. So to discuss that, first I want to start with Brett. Thank you for joining us today, Brett. Can you tell our audience a little bit about the background of the PAL Rangers?
Yeah, sure. The PAL Rangers was one of the, I would say, original travel teams that traveled all over the place, playing baseball around the country. And they started in 1998 and went to 2015 when it, for economic reasons with the administration, government, I don't want to mention any names, cut the police funding for our program. So we're looking to bring that program back with a little twist on it. First, the new name of the program is going to be the Suffolk PAL Blue Line Rangers, Blue Line with the police connotation there. And why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Through personal experience, and we found it very expensive for kids to play high-end travel baseball. You're cutting out kids that, you're cutting out up to 50% of the kids, that even probably more, that can afford to pay $5,000 to be on the team, much less the travel expenses with it. So what we're doing is we're cutting the costs of that in several ways. The first way is with my friend Kenny over here, we're raising money through charities and through fundraisers to offset the costs of the program. And also we're cutting the travel down. We're going to be staying in the Northeast, doing, the blue chip stuff and the perfect game stuff in Staten Island, Long Island, Diamond Nation. It's going to be a college showcase team, so meaning we're going to the events that colleges are going to be at. Because a lot of these kids that are playing ball, and what happened is I was watching a game at my local high school, and I saw a kid on another team, and I said, "Oh, who's that kid?" One of the dads gave me his name. I said, "Oh, who does he play for?" And he goes, "He doesn't play for anybody." And I was like, how does that kid not play for anybody? He could easily get money to play a D2 school.
That's something you don't hear anymore. Right. Top players typically would play travel baseball, but it's not a one-size-fits-all approach sometimes.
Yeah, and basically the father said that the kid didn't have the money to play, and that's what kind of set a bell off in my head that, there are kids out there that are good enough to play in college that they're just not getting the opportunity. So that's where we come in. So our program is going to be, we're going to be asking $1,000 from the parents, which is less than a third of what it actually costs. And offsetting that is going to be the donations and the stuff. And
just to interject for a moment, now that we've built the excitement here about the program, when will this get off the ground, and how will the teams be picked?
Okay. In August, we're going to have tryouts, late August, just like most travel organizations. We're going to do late August tryout, and we're going to practice through September, and we're going to play in a couple tournaments. Hopefully, the one that you sponsor will be in that tournament, and maybe another one or two. And then, we're going to take the winter off. One thing we're not going to do is we're not going to do winter workouts because we're trying to adjust this for high school coaches. We don't want to interrupt what they got going on. Most of the high schools do a very good job of doing the winter stuff. We're going to have space available for the kids to come hit and stuff, but we're not going to have anything super organized for the winter because we don't want to. The last thing I want to do is have a kid hurt his arm at why I went to work out and a high school coach getting.
Speaking of high school coaches, rumors that you guys have some high-profile names that will be heading each team.
Yeah, I mean, besides the price point of what we're doing, which we're very excited about, I'm even more excited about what we're going to be putting on the field. My lead instructor, who's been doing my camps for the last couple years, is Eric Reichenbach, longtime Mount Sinai coach, Major League draft, Long Island champ, drafted into the Major League by the Mets. So he's my lead guy, and then I have Eric Stroving. If anybody doesn't know him, they need to experience watching him coach.
Pro experience as well.
Yes, Texas Rangers, LSU, played at LSU. And then I have his boys, Kyle Stroving, who is a coach at Princeton and a coach at LIU. And then I have Brennan Stroving, who is the other son, who coached at Pat Med and went to Limestone. And
Yeah, and if you ever want to read a good feature story, I did a story on Brennan years ago when he was in college about how he taught himself how to be a switch hitter at about 21 years
yeah,
old.
because he was injured.
Never heard before.
He was injured and switched from hitting left to right,
Yeah,
I believe.
I think so. Pretty wild story. So before we forget, also joined by Ken Courtright here, of course, owner of Courtright Cares. I wanted to talk about the charity aspect of this. Of course, you've done some great work for the community, so I want to give you a chance to tell us, to connect with the loose ends here.
Yeah, so, thank you first, Vinny, and Brett for allowing me. This is one of my passions. I played baseball growing up. Had the opportunity to play at Stony Brook. And the reason I started the foundation of Courtright Cares is because, number one, first, to keep my father's legacy alive, because, he was always part of the community. He coached so many teams that I didn't even know. So what we want to do is offset the cost. My vision was, hey, every kid should have an opportunity to play at a higher end, middle end, but at least to play, right? So when I started this, the vision was to help kids who not sure what they want to do. They love baseball, right? And the cost. And I remember, playing for different organizations, trying to raise money to go to Cooperstown, right? Mm-hmm. And then as the kids got older, they had no idea of how to even apply, to a school. So that's our mentorship. We have on our board, we have a set of board members that play baseball, teach, and know how to get kids into college of their choice. One of the main points is our sports life is very short, right? So we want to make sure our mentorship shows kids hey, what do you want to do after sports? What do you want to do actually when,
the real world.
So that's where I help fund a lot of the kids who cannot afford to play in this type of setting. And the reason I'm excited about joining with the PALs, because that's where I grew up. It was all PALs. All I knew. I didn't know any other thing but PAL. Mm-hmm. And, and I'm grateful for all the police officers that are involved. They were all our mentors, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. Mm-hmm. So now the Courtright Cares, we're giving back to where we started. So that's basically the point. We're going to raise money. We got a lot of sponsors already, reaching out to us. A lot of the sponsors already are former baseball players, whether it's high school or college. Mm-hmm. So they're excited about this. I'm excited about this. I wish I can come back and play.
Mm-hmm. And they have a passion for it, and it kind of brings everybody back to a time in their life when baseball was simple, and it wasn't just about, going to every showcase possible. And that's when the prices start to get exorbitant for parents. Not everybody comes from means, of course. So, and lastly, also, you guys have the field behind us, which we got in the shot on the way in. So, is that something that you're excited about as well, having a home base like this that kids can practice at?
Oh yeah, the field is a big part of it. It's a great stadium that my friend Don built years ago, and the kids are going to be able to come here practice. That's one thing about this team that our coaching philosophy is going to be is our philosophy is you can't stagnate in high school. You have to get better. You have to get better in college. There's not a kid that can play at a high school level and play in college that doesn't get better. Mm-hmm. So if you know the coaches that I'm talking about, these kids, they're going to have a year or 2 years with these guys. They're going to get better. These kids, and anyone that knows these guys knows they practice. Yeah. They're going to practice multiple times a week, and these kids are going to get better.
Yeah, like one of my coaches told me, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. It's not a straight line to success. You have to constantly put in the work. And so what is the next step? I know that you guys want to take it 1 year at a time. Is it a situation where you want to keep it to upperclassmen in high school?
Well, we're starting off with the two teams. Eventually I would love to have a team for each big field age group, because that's what we have here is the big fields. We don't really have we already have a program where we sponsor local teams in Brookhaven and other leagues, Boys of Summer. Mm-hmm. We have a couple teams out there now. And basically I do the work for free, as far as being like the general manager. I, register them, order the uniforms, and it just costs what it costs. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, and plus we throw them a couple of, sometimes we get them uniforms, depending on which kind of money we have at the time. Mm-hmm. But it eliminates the profit making, for that aspect, for the little kids. I think I have an 8-year-old team and a 12-year-old team right now. So that's another thing that we're doing that's available to anybody, that's interested. Like I've been registering teams for years my own teams, so I'm pretty familiar with the process. I don't see charging someone $2,000 to do that. Doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
That's why we started that part of it.
And lastly, so this is something that's been in the works for a while now. You talked about the economic issues of it, and I think we've kind of touched on all the main issues, on all the main topics here. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to throw in before we conclude?
The other thing I wanted to add is we're gonna charge $1,000 for the parents, but just like every other PLO program out there, if there's an economic issue, that's an easy conversation for us. Nobody will be shut out. Mm-hmm. So another thing we got to add: it has to be a Suffolk County resident. But there is no Suffolk County resident that's good enough to be on this team that money is going to be a factor. Like we're asking $1,000 so the program continues, so we can fund it. But if there's a situation, we're going to be there for them, just like we are in all of our programs.
And how will people be notified when the tryout process begins?
We're going to come up with a flyer with we're hopefully going to attach a QR to this video to give them the information. Then I'll have a QR on there also to register. We have an online, I think, sports engine we use, an online process to register, and then we'll have tryouts. We'll have a flyer with all the information. Hopefully, if you be so kind to put it out for us.
Absolutely.
And we're going to put it out also through the High School Coaches Association. And we're going to go from there. And hopefully
all the bases there.
And part of what the Court Right Cares does is how do we offset these costs is to have community service points.
Yes, the kids are going to be required to do 25 hours of community service for the additional money that's coming. They're going to pay $1,000, but the actual cost of this program is a lot more than that, which Kenny's going to offset. But he's asking the kids to do 25 hours of community service for that right. But we're going to have things set up between his foundation and our charity. We have plenty of things, events and stuff, toy giveaways at Christmas, stuff like that, where we need the kids to help out. And plus, we have the mentoring part where we're going to have a list of businesses. Like, I'll give an example. The gentleman at Chops, who's a big supporter of both of our foundations, said, hey, if a couple kids want to come in and show them the restaurant business and let them know that it's not just cooking, that you have to do all this kind of stuff and do food costs, and just to show them, and maybe they're interested in it. And then we'll have a list of other businesses that also will be available for that kind of stuff. That'll knock off your
and part of that is helping a business owner, because this is with the connection. So when you say community service, I know some people, they say, oh, I gotta go and do a lot of stuff. So it's not that community service. It's putting the kids or the players in front of other business owners, connections, because you never know who your next employer or your employer is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck with this new venture.
Yep.
And thank you for tuning in on today's episode.
All right. Thank you very much.